Good evening. You're watching the news from the Sultanate of Oman Television. First, the headlines. As signed by His Majesty the Sultan, His Excellency the Minister of Environment and Climate Affairs is to participate in the UN Climate Action Summit 2019 to be held in New York on Monday. And the total refinery and petroleum production increases by 2% by the end of August 2019. Those are the headlines, and now the news in detail. His Majesty Sultan Qaboos has sent a cable of greetings to His Excellency President Ibrahim Boubacar Keita of Mali on his country's National Day. Upon royal assignment by His Majesty Sultan Qaboos, His Excellency Mohammed bin Salim Al-Tobi, Minister of Environment and Climate Affairs, participates in Climate Action Summit 2019 to be held after tomorrow at the UN headquarters in New York. The summit aims to implement international plans related to climate changes to limit the emissions of global warming gases, enhance adaptation of negative impacts of climate changes, to find industries and economies of low carbon emissions, and find solutions for renewable energies and infrastructures in sustainable cities, in the field of sustainable agriculture, waste management and oceans, in addition to funding projects related to adaptation of impacts of climate changes without affecting economy. China and the United States held vice ministerial level trade talks in Washington last 2 days and conducted constructive discussions on economic and trade issues of mutual concern. The two sides also carefully discussed the specific arrangements of the 13th round of China-US high-level economic and trade consultations scheduled for October in Washington. The two sides agreed to continue to maintain communication on related issues. At the invitation from the U.S. side, Liao Min, Deputy Director of the Office of the Central Commission for Financial and Economic Affairs and Vice Finance Minister, led the Chinese delegation to the trade talks. His U.S. counterpart is Deputy U.S. Trade Representative Jeffrey Jarish. The bodies of those killed in an attack on a bus near the holy city of Karbala in Iraq were taken to a morgue this morning. The bus bombing killed at least 12 people and wounded several others yesterday. Police spokesman said an explosive device planted on the bus detonated at the northern entrance of the city, setting fire on the vehicle. No group immediately claimed responsibility for the blast. Such attacks in the south of Iraq have been rare in recent years, particularly after the territorial defeat of Daesh group in Iraq in 2017 and the routing of its Al-Qaeda predecessors. Still to come on News Bulletin. The spring season, locally known as Sarb, starts in the Governorate of Dhofar.
احرص على ممارسة حقك الانتخابي. صوتك أمانة. مع تحيات وزارة الداخلية.
Welcome back to the news from the Sultanate of Oman Television. The total refinery and petroleum production increased by 2% at the end of last August compared to the same period in 2018. The National Statistics and Information Center pointed out that the car's fuel declined by more than 9%, while the aircraft fuel production rose by 10%. The liquefied petroleum gas recorded increased by 11%. With regard to petrochemicals, benzene production declined by 21%, while polypropylene production increased by 6%. The number of commercial activities during the second quarter of the current year reached more than 41,000. The Ministry of Commerce and Industry pointed out that the commercial activities recorded an increase by 14%. It clarified that construction activities reached around 7,000, followed by import and export with 6,000 activities. The ministry said that the increase in such aspects is related to the facilities provided by the e-portal Invest Easy. The revenues of 3- and 5-star hotels recorded a growth by 9% by the end of July, reaching around 128 million Omani riyals. The total number of guests at the 3- to 5-star hotels rose by the end of July 2018, reaching 1 million guests, with an increase by 19.5%. As per the statistical bulletin issued by the National Center for Statistics and Information, the number of Omani guests reached 245,000, the Asian guests reached around 121,000, and meanwhile the European guests were around 356,000. Training workshops in the field of craft industries continue at the Omani Women Association in the Wilayat of Rostaq. These training programs aim to develop the craft skills of the participating women to open new horizons for them in the field of business and entrepreneurship. They include the training in the fields of wood decoration and traditional sewing. The spring season as-Sarb, as it is called locally, has begun in the governorate of Dhofar. The spring season is characterized by the sunshine and milder weather, low humidity and green trees. As during this season, the flowers start blooming mixed with cold air breeze. This season is one of the tourist potentials which attracts domestic tourism, where plains and mountains experience active movement of tourists from the cities to enjoy the beauty of nature after the clearing of fog on the mountain peaks caused by the autumn rains in the plains and mountains. The importance of the spring season increases for farmers, fishermen and animal herders alike. It's breeding season for different crops, different types of fish, the spread of green pastures and honey. The forum organized by the Brains Global, hosted by the Sultanate of Oman Higher Education, have had a successful interactive high-level meeting. More details on forum report.
The forum, organized by the Brains Global, hosted by the Sultanate of Oman's Higher Education Ministry, have had a successful interactive high-level meetings. The forum, of which did showcase public-private partnership opportunities, approving higher learning and education for MENA's next generation, based on the government's vision to join fellow nations embracing the fourth industrial revolution.
The Sultanate of Oman, represented by the Minister of Higher Education, is hosting this important forum, which is the ICT innovation in the MENA region. The idea is to follow up with the advancement in ICT and the impact of this advancement on the industry. And also on the higher education.
The landmark event with the high-level meetings-based forum brought together 15 visiting ministers and 150 visiting government officials, matched by 20 regional university representatives, industry leaders in ICTs, artificial intelligence and digital learning, alongside civil society organizations, all of whom have had an effective interactive meeting under one roof.
We're very excited to be in Muscat, Oman. MENA Innovation 2019 has brought together best practice leaders from industry and from governance from across MENA and beyond in a very interactive session where really they circumvent some of the antiquated bureaucracy in terms of doing business, integrating into a new market, empowering the next generation of young leaders.
On the sideline of the forum, an exhibition of educational institutions was held. We met with some who narrated part of their successful stories full of achievements in the educational system.
Montessori is the largest education system in the world. It has been going for 100 years and was set up by Dr. Maria Montessori to help children learn through play, through touch, through the senses. We believe in helping children understand the world around them and learn the skills they need for the future.
I first visited the Montessori school system when I was in the States in the middle 80s, and what I found very impressive was the practicality of the learning system. What really goes on in the school itself, everything is structured to fit in with the kids. The chairs are little, the tables are little, they use lots of colors to make it exciting for the children. A lot of activity every moment, like humming bees, because this is what Maria Montessori really believed, that kids learn better when they are in a playful environment.
The government of the Sultanate of Oman is aware of the importance of contemporary scientific research and development and its role in preparing and empowering youth. Oman's Vision 2040 was indeed recently inaugurated in the Sultanate, based on the establishment of a comprehensive education platform with an underscored commitment to building a diverse and sustainable economy in the future, a plan for action to diversify its resources and leverage the talents and creativity of its next generation, who are rapidly becoming today's digital citizens. Abdullah bin Ahmed al-Rabi'i, Sultanate of Oman Television, Muscat.
This is the Sultanate of Oman Television. Before we end tonight's bulletin, here are the main points once again. Is signed by His Majesty the Sultan, His Excellency the Minister of Environment and Climate Affairs, is to participate in the UN Climate Action Summit 2019 to be held in New York on Monday. And the total refinery petroleum production increases by 2% by the end of August 2019. And with that, we come to the end of tonight's news bulletin. From all of us here in the newsroom and the studios, enjoy the rest of the weekend. Good night.